I'm going to introduce Rob, our speaker. He's a leadership specialist and a founder of Learning Architects, who's providing leadership support in learning design and technology expertise. He is a qualified Gallup Strengths Coach and an engagement consultant. He's also a volunteer for the Special Officer for Education for the UN Association of New Zealand, and really works largely with promoting the SDGs, or the Sustainability Development Goals, with the UN. Over to you, Rob.
Thank you. Kia ora tātou katoa, ko Rob Clarke, aho, no Otatahi. It's good to be here today, and this is actually the first time I've done an unconference like this. So, and as Stephen said at the start, putting it together quite rapidly, because I didn't think my session would be chosen. So thank you. I hope you get some value out of it and that you make some connections amongst one another. So you'll see that I've put the link for the shared notes in the chat again. Let me just share my screen. Can you give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen? Cool. Okay, so I'm going to link this up to our shared notes for you. So the topic is, how might we play to our strengths in a post-COVID world? Okay, and what I'm really interested in doing is I'm interested in two big bodies of knowledge, really, and either of these could be a presentation in its own right. So I'm going to give you a very a rapid, sort of very light overview of both. And then at the end, I want to, towards the end, I want to have some time for you to make your own connections and develop your own ideas. Okay, so I'm really interested in the integration of strengths with the Sustainable Development Goals. So the first thing I want to look at with this is an intro to the Sustainable Development Goals. So I'm going to put a poll up on the screen. So Rosie, can you pop that poll up? And that will pop up on your screen. And I want you to vote yes or no. Do you know what the Sustainable Development Goals are? Because I'm guessing that most of you probably do. Interesting. It's looking like around about a quarter of you may not. Okay. Just wait for a couple more. We've got 8 more people to vote. 7, 6, 5, 3, 6. So it looks like the bulk of us, around about 75%. So I'm going to end the poll. I'll give it another couple of seconds. There's a couple more people that may not have voted. Maybe you don't want to. That's okay. Okay, so it looks like most of you are aware. Let me share those results to you. I think I'm sharing those results. Can you give me a thumbs up? Can you see those? Oh, cool. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so the SDG goals are, they fall into 3 broad categories. Okay, so who knows what those categories are? So these are the 17 goals. So can I get you to put your thumb up, and let's see, give me a thumbs up if you know what the 3 broad categories are. Sophia, do you want to unmute and tell us what you think they are?
Oh wow, I feel like I put myself on the spot.
You did.
Economic, social and environmental.
Yeah. So basically the broad motto of the Sustainable Development Goals is transform our world, okay? And the United Nations has set this framework, sometimes referred to as Agenda 2030. So that's a quick overview of what the SDGs are. The next thing I'd like to do is to go through a bit of an introduction to strengths. Now, this is where I'm going to get you to perhaps show your belly button. But you'll probably have a top on, I think. So can I get you to stand up, please? So you'll need to move your chair. And can I get you to stand up if this statement applies to you? Okay, you might want to put this into gallery view for this part because it'll be a bit more interesting. I'm trying to figure out how to do that. while I'm sharing my screen, which is kind of a bit tricky. Oh, here we go. So stand up if you always talk to people in elevators, airplanes, grocery stores, or wherever you go, random places. So you should see a whole lot of people on your gallery with no head. Okay, sit back down. Stand up if you write down a list of things to do and stick with it. So you can see, oh, look, there's a few list keepers there. Okay, stand up if you need to pick someone to race while you're driving. Are you standing up, Louise? Rightio. Stand up if you always follow through on what you commit to. Oh, look at that. I need some people like you near me. Okay, sit down. Stand up if you see patterns in data that others don't. Great. Stand up if you avoid talking to in front of an audience. I would have stood up to that one when I was all through high school from speeches, but I don't tend to anymore. Now, these are all indicators of something called talent. Okay, and the philosophy that I'm trained in, the essence of it is that rather than fixating on what is wrong with people, let's focus on what's right with them. Okay, and this philosophy is all about the fact that everybody has different talents. Okay, and a talent is defined as a naturally recurring pattern of thought, feeling, or behavior that can be productively applied. Now, you'll see down the bottom of that slide that a talent becomes a strength when it is applied in any given task with near perfect performance. Okay, so with that in mind, what I'd like to do, I'm going to get you in the, I'm going to stop sharing my screen just quickly. I'm going to ask you a question, and I'm going to use the waterfall idea. And can I get you to unmute your microphones? And when I say go, I want you to answer this question. So I'm going to give you a chance to think about it, and then I'm going to say go. Okay, so the question is, what is one positive word people use to describe you? It has to be a positive word.
Empathetic.
Okay, thinking about it?
Enthusiastic.
Okay, in the chat, go.
Responsible.
Effective.
Viable.
So we've got brave, calm, bubbly, funny, friendly, confident, connector. Actually, read out your own word and we'll have a cacophony. Go on.
Friendly.
Positive.
Happy. Creative.
Responsible.
Now, I think that might be everyone's word because the words have stopped. Oh no, creative. Thank you, Lynette. Now, how did you feel when I asked you that? Can you give me a thumbs up or a middle or a down? And hold your thumb there, please, so everyone can see what you're signaling. Now, isn't it interesting that some people are not putting their thumbs up? I wonder why that is. Let's have some thoughts in the chat, please. Why do you think some people are uncomfortable with that exercise?
Perhaps nobody has told anybody, you know, what their strength is. No one has reflected back to them and they're unaware.
Perhaps, yeah. I wonder if it's conditioning as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you. Let me share my screen again. Where is it? There it is. Right, I think I've got it. Give me a thumbs up. Can you see the presentation again? Okay, so there's a difference between talent and strength. Okay, so one of the things that is interesting about people that use their strengths is that they have, the data shows that they have a better quality of life. Okay, so here are some examples. Treating others better, having more positive than negative interactions, looking forward to whatever it is they're doing. It might be going to work, or it might be doing their voluntary stuff, or it might be playing their sport. They generally get more done. They're also more creative and innovative, and they have more of those moments. That second to last one is a really interesting one, because that's how you speak about your organization. That's an indicator of engagement. And if you're operating in your strength zone, it's more likely that you will speak positively about your organization than negatively. And you'll also be a more positive, productive, and effective community member. Now, what I'd like to do now is I'd like you to consider how might you use your talents and strengths to support others during level 3, 2, 1, and beyond. So what I'd like to do now is invite you to pop over to the Google document, and I'll put it in the notes again for you in the chat. Actually, can I get...
Rob, I think there's a problem where in the chat, people can't copy the link for some reason. Is there any other way of sharing it?
Yeah, there is another way. Ultimately, if everyone has the program, go into the program, and in the program right next to Rob's little bio, there's a little white link that says collaborative document, and it's right next to his name and the title of his talk.
Try this first. See if that's quicker. Can someone give me a thumbs up if that works? No. Oh, what's happening with your sharing, guys?
If you go to page 6 and just look at Rob's talk, right next to his name is the link of the program.
Now, in doing this, it's worth considering what are your unique talents and strengths. Okay, so it doesn't matter if you've done an assessment necessarily, or we generally have some kind of an intuitive sense of what we're actually good at. So you don't have to have done any kind of assessment per se to really be able to answer this. You need to be, I would suggest, somewhat self-aware to be able to do it though.
Sorry, Rob, what am I doing?
So I'd like you to consider the question, how might you use your talents and strengths to support others during the lockdown and beyond? And put your ideas into the notes document. Now, what I'm going to do too, we've got a few extra people, so I'm going to make some extra rows in the bottom of it. So Meg has put in using strengths. She's saying, I'm quite organised and used to working with teams of volunteers and encouraging people to help others so we can continue to do so. So that's a great example of somebody using their talents and their strengths in action. Now, as you are considering these things, I'd like you to try and be nice and specific as well. So for example, if you want to seek opportunities to collaborate with others, what sorts of opportunities might you be most interested in? And also try and consider how your talents could be applied to that situation. Now, I'm going to keep moving along because I'm aware of time, okay? And obviously these are two fairly big topics. The next question I'd like you to consider is the question of how might you apply the Sustainable Development Goals, or one or more of the Sustainable Development Goals. So I'll put the question in the chat. Based on one or more of the Sustainable Development Goals, reflect on how you might use your strengths to support others in a post-COVID world, okay? How might you use one or more? Okay, can I invite you to pop your ideas on that Google Doc in your notes area? And also, if people want to unmute and discuss them, go for it.
Can you just repeat that again, please, Rob?
Yep, so based on one or more of the SDGs, So I'm going to put the SDGs back up for you. How might you, here we go, let's go back. How might you use your strengths to support others in a post-COVID world? So I'm interested now in the integration between the SDGs and the idea of strengths.
I'm not very good at listening, Rob. What did you want us to do this time?
So the question is, how might you identify one or more of the SDGs? So I want you to pick one that resonates with you.
Yep.
Reflect on how you might use your strengths to support others in a post-COVID world.
Cool, thanks.
Now, you can either put your answer into the chat, but I'd like you to also pop it into the Google Doc if you could, because then that way they're all in one place and it might be a wee bit easier to associate the idea with the person next to your name, if that's all right. Now, as people are doing that, I can put more links up around the SDGs as well as strengths into this document for you to have a look at if you want extra reading or viewing material. I'm just going to highlight a couple of the answers. So I can see that Meg, who's the first row in this sheet, she's very focused on SDG 3, good health and wellbeing, and 11, sustainable cities and communities. And she's doing that through, tell me if I'm wrong, Meg, through an advocacy role to support the giving back to local communities. And it looks like Fiona is focused on SDG 3 as well. And that's through, is that through your leadership work, Fiona?
Yeah, mostly, I mean, so through coaching individuals, but also then, so if you're a leader in a workplace and there's, and you have a major influence on the well-being of all of the people that you lead, so that there's a scalable impact if you work with the leader of an organization to improve their leadership, therefore they're influencing the well-being of the people that work for them, therefore they bring it home and that goes in their communities, so that scales.
Great, thank you.
I'm going to give you, in that little moment there, a 5-minute flag.
Okay. Sophia is talking about 17, 3, 13, 14, and 15. Sophia, do you want to tell us about that? And how that relates to your particular strengths?
Hi, yeah, I just can't pick a single one. Sorry, I just love them all. So I'm involved in quite a few community groups, and through like my professional job as well as a sustainability advisor, I do a lot of connecting with businesses and through communities to champion a lot of sustainability challenges, or like overcoming them, or like transforming to sustainability. So that's why 17 is important. I think goal 3, just generally good health and well-being, about caring for everyone. I think at the minute that's a big thing for everyone because of COVID. 13, 14 and 15 are kind of like the environmental goals. And so because I'm involved in a lot of environmental organisations like the Christchurch Enviro Hub and Sustainable Aotearoa Christchurch, that's why I've put those there, because we're working on quite a few initiatives to really raise the awareness on the local environment on land and in the sea, and then just generally being like a good champion for the goals. So that's why I put all goals as well.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to start wrapping up. I want to thank you for coming. Can I encourage you to pick 6 words that describe what you might have taken from this session or what you're thinking now as a summary? And could I get you to take those 6 words, that's 6, right, only 6, and plonk them into the chat?
Rob,
I also think
you unshare your screen.
Oh.
Thank you.
Good prompt. So if you can take 6 words to describe your thinking right now of this session, please do. I really appreciate this is 2 fairly big areas. So, and the ideas that I bring to it have been formed fairly recently. I would say my 6 words would be use breakout rooms next time, please, to give you more interaction. So thank you. I'm going to wrap up there, and I hope to connect with a few more of you during the rest of the conference.
Thank you,
Rob.
So from here, I think you guys will probably know the drill now. Basically, it's check out your program, figure out where you want to go next, use the law of 2 feet, and follow them. I guess it's 2 clicks. Lovely seeing you all.